Katimules!
Alright, this video is live now. I'm going to mute myself just so there's no audio interference. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. I'm going to mute and then I'll just unmute whenever we're ready to talk.
Yo. Hello, everyone. Yautja! We're almost ready. Yeah. Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you for tuning in Today we have with us the mighty Cyberoptics, Alex. He's gonna help me here and actually give some feedback on your tracks. As already mentioned, he will definitely have some different insights. So, until then, let's give it a little bit time for you guys to tune in. We're going to start with a track of his from his forthcoming album. The track's called Sandworm Rising. So let's go. Let's hear it. There was a problem. Yeah, let me refresh that. Classic. Straight up cyberpunk vibes. Damn cinematic vibes, man. You do that so well. You're pretty good at that. Not gonna lie. You didn't even need the kick and the snare here. Yet it was powerful. 343. Like that number, 343, for me is a big number because it's one of the industries. You're pretty good at that.
Thank you.
Not gonna lie. You didn't even need the kick and the snare here. Yet it was powerful.
Thank you.
You didn't. Wow, that was some feedback here. um, yeah. So yeah, as I was telling, 343 for me is a number of importance because it's one of the companies that made the Halo. One of my all-time favorite games. 343 Industries. So let's go. First track is by Dixie Moo. I think he sent it to me, not from Cyberoptics side. I think it's a weird one. I don't know if we will be able to be constructively giving feedback to you on that. So let's hear it and we'll see what we can do.
It's known as Special K, a psychedelic drug popular in dance clubs and highly addictive.
Ketamine is revolutionary. It's unlike anything else that we have.
But doctors say this same drug, ketamine, approved as animal tranquilizer and anesthetic, can also be a lifesaver.
What happens if it's administered chronically over time? We simply don't know.
Ketamine.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Actually, blended right in with the theme of the previous tracks here already. I mean, mine and yours. But I felt like the snare or clap or whatever he used here was a bit drowned in. So maybe he uses a different sample here. And also something more bass, like low mid frequencies to actually accentuate the whole synths here. What's your opinion on that? I know there's going to be some delay here on your end, so we're gonna wait for that. Yeah, sorry for the awkward pauses here, guys. It's going to be like that because he listens to me from the stream.
Okay, so hopefully I have waited accounted for the delay a bit. The bass line of the track is definitely dope. And it's got a very nice groove. I think, yeah, like what you were saying, it could benefit more from like a more of a thumpy snare and then have your clap layered on top of that. And I get like right now where the track ends is a perfect spot maybe to switch up the drums or maybe add like a little counter melody on that bass line. Nothing, too crazy, but, I can tell like, where the track has stopped. It's like, okay, this is going to be the next section of the track. And you're probably looking for some things to keep it fresh. So maybe experiment, maybe add like a little, like a breaks type drum edit, or to where it's not just the 4x4 kick and snare, or maybe add some little counter melody on top of it to help it progress. But as far as, you know, everything now, it sounds good. I really like the bass line.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you're obviously more related to this genre than me, even though I've made a couple of tracks of this genre. But yeah, your inputs were more on point and more in depth, as in terms of the overall track's performance here. Um, I was more like into the audio spectrum side of things, so I think we covered both sides here. Let's go to the next one. It's Audilepsy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Or Little Mermaid, not sure. Under the Sea, and it's breakcore. That's the weird one, actually. It wasn't the previous track. This is the weird one that we're not sure if we will be able to be constructive here. Let's hear it. Also has some Amon Tobin vibes. Don't know why. Okay, I'm gonna start to be polite to everyone because I know not many people get this, but you remixed Under the Sea into breakcore because Disney isn't brutal enough. We are not brutal enough, bro. We're not brutal enough, and we've been making dubstep and drum and bass for like a decade. Yeah. Actually, this takes a lot of editing skills here. From producer side, this is not easy to do. But on the listener side, I'm not sure if anyone can follow here. And I'm not sure what to say constructively here because I've never made breakcore, I've never even listened to breakcore. This may be like the first or second track of breakcore that I'm listening to ever. So yeah. Alex, you?
I'm just trying to account for the delay here. I don't want it to. I don't want it to mesh over anything else.
Nah, you're good.
I mean, obviously, the stuff that I can say about it is you obviously know how to use a lot of the program that you're working in. A lot of that stuff that you've done takes a lot of knowledge. And at the end of the day, if that's what you want to make and it makes you happy, then keep going for it. It may not be something that everybody here. That's not something that they would necessarily put on at any time of day. But you obviously know enough about making tracks to where, I mean, I'm pretty sure whatever you wanted to make, you could pretty much do a decent job at it.
Yeah.
The drum edits and stuff were nice. But I mean, the name Audilepsy, if it's a play on epilepsy, like if epilepsy could be induced by sound, that would definitely do it. So if that's the vibe that you're going for, and that's the route that you're going for, definitely accomplishes that.
True, and we're not.
So yeah, man, if that's what you want to make, keep making it. I'm not hating.
No, of course, I know you don't, and I'm not. I either. There's no genre shaming here. It's everything counts, as said. But on the other hand, we're making a fool of ourselves here, and we're making fun of ourselves because we can't follow. And as I said, technically this is great, but musically this is weird. So this is it for us. Next, yo, it's Procyon B. I think I said that right. Corporate couriers, and I bet that guy is from your Discord server, right? Probably. So let's go. Damn. Damn? Yeah, damn. This guy did something really cool here. He combined, of course, cyberpunk aesthetics, but he combined Eastern melodies with overly digital sound design and with downsampling, which was a very interesting approach. The whole vibe and ambience of the track was on point, and it was almost broken. Not much to say about this track. It's pretty well made. He did a very good job here, to be honest. And not sure how he could improve it. I mean, it's already a releasable material. He released it actually 1 year ago, or at least uploaded it. He's doing a pretty good job here, and no wonder why he's on your Discord community. What's your say, Alex?
Well, you said a lot of the stuff that I was actually going to say as well. I
I
noticed
gotcha.
right away that the melody was it had like a very Middle Eastern vibe, reminding me a lot of like Metal Gear Solid 4. Just like kind of that setting, that futuristic Middle East desert type setting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I noticed also it was made a year ago, so I can only imagine how the production has evolved and gotten even better. As far as creative input on the track, maybe some more. I don't necessarily know if you will go back and change anything, but just some stuff to add maybe would be good to have some sort of edits or fills at the end of the measures. So when it comes back in, it kind of keeps it fresh, almost kind of how you have it like in the middle of the track where it kind of fades out to the static and comes back in. You can kind of accomplish that same thing with some edits or fills at the end of a measure or two, and kind of suck people back into it. But that's just kind of nitpicking in preference. But I mean, I loved it. It was a great song and right up my alley with what I'm into right now, and you did a very good job.
True. Kudos to this man. Definitely going to check out his newer stuff because, as you mentioned and I mentioned, it's 1 year ago and his production level can only be better, isn't it? So, what the fuck? Okay, so next track by Nowan, Isolated System. He submitted this track to me via PM. Let's hear it. Yeah, nicely done, Nowan. Pretty good track, man. I've actually wrote down some notes as I was listening because sometimes when you have to say a lot, you kind of lose track of what you want to say. Seems like you only needed like a reverb on your clap, something to place it in space. Not a delay, of course, just a reverb, a short, like in a very short and small room placement. Also, your clap sample seems like a bit down sampled. I'm not sure. Something about its quality triggers my attention. You only need like a bit more variation or just shorten the track up. One of the two. If you want to make a long track, make sure it's something that while you're listening it to, it evolves. And you kinda did that, but it needs a bigger evolution as it goes. I know it's the kind of tracks that you vibe with and let it play in the background, but in my opinion and perspective, should have something more. Your pads were an excellent pick. They also had their own frequency area to exist. They didn't bother anything else. They weren't bothered by anything else. So the placement of their frequencies were pretty good. Your hats are nicely minimal and short, suits the track, and your kicks were on the right level. So overall, a pretty good track with a few tweaks to make. Not as important as it may seem, but you could always check that aspect. You, Alex, what's your input on this?
I really dug that track. Like you said, the rides. I'm sorry, I'm talking with my phone close, and it's probably making me really loud. Sorry about that. Okay. Um, so I really like the pads. It gave it, like earlier, it gave it like a very liquid vibe. But I still like the way it dropped, and I like the track. Um, what I will say is one thing that I'm hearing that would keep the song fresh. It is a bit long, but to keep it fresh around the middle of the second drop, you could take those crackly high perks out. I know you did closer to the end around like the 447 mark or so, but add some nice rides in there. Maybe one on each beat, like a or a
Yeah, it could work.
um, and kind of take all the other highs out, but add those rides, and that would keep it really fresh. And there's also some room for maybe like a high end flourishing arpeggiated melody. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But just something on the high end to kind of add like an additional layer, because there's room for it. And there's a lot of room to keep the track fresh. I just feel like with how long it is, it kind of does get to the point where your mind is expecting more. So, it's kind of like John said, you could shorten it or you could add some stuff like that to keep it more fresh. I like the length of it, as long as you kind of wait the stuff like the crackling high percussion, and add some rides in there. Like I think rides would do a lot for the track.
Yeah,
But other
that's
than
true.
that, it was very good and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's true. Rides are an input I didn't think of, and probably could work here. Next track is by Gows, probably pronounced like that. Track's named Cyberdrill, and it also has a 2077 hashtag, so it's probably from your community, probably, yeah. So let's hear it. Damn. Damn. Okay, this guy, Gows, from your side of things, he's pretty good. He did a pretty good job here. He made a boss track as mentioned in the chat. The chat loved it, we loved it. The only thing that's out of place here, I think, it's the kick. The kick sounds like it's from a housey techno side of things. It's like a sample made for that genres, but that's not bad. That's not necessarily bad. It's a pretty good track. Not sure what he could fix here. He also had some industrial elements in the track, which of course fit the vibe. The track's length was not too much either. He had some nice ups and downs, switch ups, everything. I think it was the most balanced for up until now, to be honest. What about you, Alex?
I really liked that. It was definitely very busy, and stayed fresh. The one thing that I would personally change, and this is just a maybe my own ears and my own preference, is the high strings that come in the middle part. They go to some note, they change notes a lot to where I feel like it's not necessary, and you could accomplish kind of the same. You could accomplish more with less, instead of having the strings go something like you could literally just make them start and then pitch down like a
Yeah, like an effect.
And I think that it would flow better, and it wouldn't sound a lot of the notes, for me, a lot of the notes in the high string part just kind of sounded a little.
Yeah, what happened here? Alex, you're live. You're live, bro.
It wouldn't sound.
Wait, I think we lost you there for a minute, bro.
Oh, sorry. Somebody messaged me on Discord and it cut me out. I think I'm back now, but
yeah, I think you are waiting for your visual feedback to come.
Okay. But pretty much what I was saying is the high string part could be accomplished in a better way with less notes. And I honestly think a pitch down that covers those note ranges would be a lot better.
Yeah, like an effect.
It was very cool. So yeah, that's my feedback.
Yeah, it's not much to fix here. The track's like almost done for me. Okay, next. He's Greek. Not Greek. He's here. He listens. And we're still waiting for your camera, Alex. Don't know if it's something you have to press or not. Vrodex! Band. Let's hear it.
Bands in the truck.
Yo, Matt! Hello, Matt. Okay, that was a level up. That was something. You need something to... Yeah, you need some releveling on your mixing. I mean, your main synth is too obvious and too characteristic to be that loud. You don't have to be that loud with your synth. But your switches and vibes were on point. Pretty good done. Pretty well done. About the crowds... What about them on the break? I like that. You also need to consider about lowering the volume of your building up kicks. More when you play them that often, they tend to build up on volume as well. So this right here should not be that loud, because this takes away from the contrast of the loudness of the drop as mentioned in the chat. And you could do that by automating the kicks level to be lower and lower according to how often you play them. Or you could just low cut them, high pass filter them as they progress. I also liked your panning and stereo image in the track. Pretty good job here. Keep it up, bro. What about you, Alex? And what about your camera? Are you there? Did you just suddenly become ugly and decided to hide or shit?
My camera is actually on in the Discord chat. It's just not showing up on the stream. But I'm looking at me and you here both on video. I'm not sure. Maybe the stream didn't update the camera.
Do you wanna close it and open it again?
Yeah. Let's close it and open it again.
No, I mean the stream. I mean the camera.
The camera. I did that, but it didn't take to the stream. Hold on just a sec. I'll try it one more time.
Yeah. By the way, your camera doesn't seem open in my Discord as well. It's not just the stream.
Okay. Just a sec.
Hello, hello.
Hello? Any better?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Wanna go
Okay.
into the track? Give the guy some feedback.
Okay, sure. I think maybe the main issue is even beyond the build, the kick itself is a bit loud. And I think that if you lowered the volume of the kick and brought the entire volume of the track up, it would work better.
True.
Because the kick is very pronounced. And on the second drop, the synths, the very high pitch, computerized sounding synths, they're also very loud. It's just a matter of getting a better mix down. Because I also noticed on the second drop, if you listen back to it, the snare and clap is very drowned out. So I think a very easy fix would be to lower the volume of the kick itself and raise everything else up. But other than that, I mean, the track goes off. It definitely, for people that like kind of like the very intense rhythm type stuff, it's very good. So yeah, just it's all about a better mix down, lower that kick and bring everything else up.
Yeah, by lowering that kick and bringing everything up, he means that when you lower the kick, there is more headroom to actually limit everything and make them louder, if you wanted to be more specific here. So yeah, that could work here. Next track is from Yautja. He's here in the chat, I think, and the track's called Wolf Predator, and it's a dubstep one. Let's hear it. Bruh, the least worry of yours should be loudness. Like, there's no need to be that loud. I had to bring down the volume to half in order to be balanced with the other tracks. It's way too loud and distorted from your limiters. Try working on a track without the limiter on. Try working on it like for what it is and what you want to make and what you want to achieve. Then, last thing, you can try and make it loud. The only thing here that can be better is you don't have short-term melodies. You need like a 3-4 keys to loop so everyone can follow and know what's next, because this style of dubstep needs some predictability so everyone can skank and dance along, or moss in this case, and it's a bit all over the place melodically. So work on 2-3 different loops, like one synth playing 3 notes and the other synth replying to it with another 3 notes, and then going back and forth, and then you take this couple of synths, change the melodies, but keep it back and forth. This could work and this could take you a long way, but please do not make them so loud. It's not mandatory, not necessary at all. What about you, Alex?
Kind of along the same lines as what John was saying. When you
This
start a
could
track,
take you
especially
a lot.
this young, obviously the track is very young. When I make my stuff, there's no limiter, because when you get to the phase when you're ready to complete it and have it mastered, you're going to have to take that limiter off for them anyways, and it's going to change the way your track sounds. If you can get everything sounding clean and hitting under 0, but still compressed, so it sounds full. When you send it to get mastered, they're going to do all of what you're trying to do right now. They're going to do all that for you. Or if you choose to master the track yourself, you will accomplish what you're trying to do now. And it's I understand you, when you're making it, you kind of want an idea of what it's going to sound like when it's done while you're making it. But in this case, you're just going to have everything hitting at under 0, because when it's very distorted like this, it's going to make your job a lot harder when you go. And if you try to master it, when you take that limiter off, you pretty much have to re-EQ and remix down everything. So whenever you start a track, don't have the limiter on it. Or if you are like me and you use Fruity Loops, I have a limiter on my master track, but the ceiling is turned all the way up to where it's not limiting anything. I can just kind of see and gauge the frequencies
Exactly.
of where everything's hitting, and I balance that off of the 0 dB. Because if anything's going above 0 dB, it's going to be an issue most of the time. Sometimes not, in very few cases, but like John said, the last thing you want to do this early in a track is have it bricked out like it is. As far as the composition goes, right now it's very meat and potatoes. You got your basic drums, and then you got your bass. I do like the robot dog DAT6 style tonal delay mid-range bass. You can do a lot with that. But I think you could get a lot out of just having a nice flow and change up the kick beat, because right now it's just kick, snare, kick, snare. Maybe if you had it kick, snare, kick, snare, or something like that, you can keep it fresh without it getting really old really quick. And I think that's, as far as like with really heavy dubstep now, when you go to a show, it's all kind of like that, to where it's just kick, snare, kick, snare, and it's very, you have to allow people's ears to follow along a little bit better. The tools are there. It just needs, right now, you need to take the limiter off, turn the volume down on a lot of things, re-EQ, and then progress. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree, man. And about the whole kick snare you mentioned, can't help but think about Chrissy's track. It's unbelievable. Next track, yeah, House Whip, but I'm not sure. I think it's from Josh, who just tuned in. Hey Josh, I think this is your track. So yeah, you finally made it in time. So let's hear what you sent us. Yautja! Damn, bro! I knew you were great on melodies, but never thought you'd do something like this. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. Walter says, my man John got more tabs than an acid dealer. Yeah, bro! That's how we run. That's how we do it. And these tabs here, like 5 tabs or something, were submitted in the last half hour before the stream happens, and 3 right now are submitted right now. I mean, I just checked the forms, and yeah, it seems like we're gonna be here for a little while more. The whole track was vibey, man. Not sure what you could fix. The mix was on point. The kick, snare, melodies, synths, selection, vibes, length was okay because the track was pretty good in content, so it wasn't neither too short or lengthy. So from me, it's a pretty good track, almost ready to be released. And I say almost because you may need to do some shit, or Alex may need to mention something you could fix here. Not sure. What about you, Alex? And by the way, the beer that I drank, I have to, you know, be right back. Tell us, Alex, about you. About the track, not about you.
The track is great. The vibe was on point. One thing that might have gotten overlooked or not noticed, but I didn't notice it actually until the second drop. Since there's a lot of melodies and a lot of different things going on, it kind of hid the fact, but the clap is very low in volume. and I'm not sure if it's just low in volume or if it's not coming through because of the high melodies. That was really the only thing that I noticed, was that the clap was very low. Other than that, it's a very good track. It's very unique. It's got a good vibe, and it's well done. There's not, yeah, like John said, it's almost ready to be released. I would check on that clap. I honestly, like I said, I didn't notice it until the second drop part. Yeah, but other than the clap being very low in volume compared to the kick and the other sounds, it's very well done, and I dug it.
True. Let's go to the next track. Revedere. He's a friend. He's pretty good in techno stuff. I think this is trance though, and he uploaded it for today's episode. Let's hear it because I'm curious. Let's go! Yo!
Damn.
Loved it, man. So glad I didn't hear this before. And it was like this was the first time I heard it. The intro was such a great track, man. I mean, this isn't something you've sent me before, like as a genre. Your trance tracks are pretty good, to be honest. Reminded me of good old trance that's not so good anymore. I think you could only use like more variation and build up and noise layers on top from after a point. Actual noise layers like white noise with cut-off bass. Yeah. You could always make your evolution in the track, instead of being like 32 bars, make them 16 bars, so you can add more and more context in the track and make it flow and evolve as it goes, and maybe you may end up with a shorter track, which is the point. When you have a shorter track, you have double the chances that the guy who listened it will hit replay, and that's double the plays on every platform, and even on Spotify. I know I've said that a lot on these series of videos, but there's always new guys here, so I have to be contributing to them as well. Not much else to say about the track as it is, because I know it is a work in progress. There are not many wrongs or faults here. The track could be louder, but again, it's on an early stage right now, so that's the least of our worries. What about you, Alex? What's your input here?
I really, really loved that. Like I said, it was nice and restrained, but it didn't need anything else. What you had, drove the track very well. I love the atmosphere. I don't know if it's something that you're going to add a clap or a snare to, but it would help with the progression. It just depends on your personal taste and what you want to do with the track. If you wanted to add a clap or a snare, you could add alternating ones. Like the best way I can describe it is to sing it, but I'm hearing in my head, alternating them back and forth instead of having the same one on the 2 and 4.
So you mean he could play with like 2 claps, different samples, and have one after the other?
Correct. Yes. And I think that would help it, stay fresh and also progress. But like I said, really, it's for what it is. It's really good, and it doesn't need a whole lot of stuff. It's very driving. And I loved it. It was great.
And I know there's more from him. He works pretty hard on his music, and he gets better and better. And hopefully we'll get to see you guys sometime in the future work on tracks, because he'll get there. I know him. Next track by illabyl? Not sure. Probably illabyl. Track's called Blackout. It's a work in progress, of course, that's the point here. To hear your track as it is, and probably, maybe, hopefully help you progress. Let's hear it. Well, that was unexpected in a good way. That was cool, man. Thank you, illabyl. Probably illabyl. Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce it again. You have a pretty good bass here. You have like a pretty good draft of a track. What I mean is that the sound design of your synths could be a lot better. It's not like should be, but they could be. The drill synth you used could be different paths, and you could also add a chorus slash phaser on it, so it won't be like all the time. It's like the same sample. If it is a sample, you can always EQ it with automations and filters to make it differ just a tiny bit every time it drops and plays, just so it's not so repetitive. The barking synth, the wah 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 one, could actually use again filters and EQs, but vowely ones. The ones that's they have a very specific shape to remind of human vowels from a voice. Wow filters do that. Wow filters do that on the first one, not the second one, from Sugarbytes, if I remember correctly. Also, they were a bit loud, meaning that your clap slash snare was drowned. You also used the kinda cheesy siren sample from can't remember the software, DJ software. Yeah, package. Yeah, your melodies were great. You used pretty good progression on your melodies and your chords, but it got a bit repetitive on drops. That's it from me. Alex, when you're ready, you can tell us your inputs on this track.
I really liked this one. I like the fact that you didn't. There was no negligence as far as the melodic part. You kept the melody in there, weaved in there in some way, shape, or form. I liked that. Though I do, once again, I'm going to harp back on rides. I think rides would work very well. Add just another layer to it. Rides help pick the energy up even more when the energy's already going. There's just something about them where, and when you're trying to take it one step further, you're going to need those. And I think rides would do the song very well. Maybe not as far as a hissy ride, but something that's tuned almost like a bell dinging on the root note. I think that would work very good. But it's a great track, and I would be proud of it if I made it, for sure.
Damn, actually Anton Gerds messaged me. He says that he cannot use the chat in my stream, and I'm pretty dumbfounded here because I know it's public, and I don't know what he can do. Yeah. Sorry, bro. Don't know how to fix this right now. I've never had this issue with anyone else in the past. It's really weird, yeah. We have Akrawa here again. It says it's 3 minutes, but I think it's like 2 or 3 tracks, as he told me. Let's go. Let's hear it. This is the next one. Actually, let's stop here and review the first track. He also used some ther screw sample here. You Tiki B. Okay, hip hop vibes. The composer of the whole track was made in order to accompany an MC. Hopefully, that's at least the vibes I'm getting from this track. It's in a pretty good shape for what it is. I mean, your claps are nicely aligned with your kick. It's like a beat forward, beat before the kick, so they don't hit exactly at the same time, which is a pretty good feeling on these type of beats. The kind of synth you used for the lead melodies is also good. Not much to say here. I want to hear this finished, to be honest. It's great for what it is. You, Alex?
Very nice vibe on the track. Like you said, I don't know if there is going to be vocals on it or not. They would fit for sure. Only little thing I could hear that would help keep it fresh is there's some hats in the background that are like a 16th note. Maybe if you half time those in some spots to where it was just or maybe had them with the delay on them. That's one area of the track that I feel could be kept more fresh. But other than that, it was nice. It was good for what it was.
Yeah, and you heard from him in the past. He did some pretty good dubstep shit you liked on a previous episode. Let's hear the next track. Yeah, right there. This sample is from a legendary old school hip hop band in Greece, and I like what he's doing. Πού είναι οι πένες σας? Hey, Rhapsody, πού είναι οι πένες σας? You you really had to do that in the end. I know you. Again, not much to say here. You resampled one of my favorite tracks, man, and you didn't go too far from it either. It's like you remixed it. So why not adding the vocals on? I mean, take the original vocals and use them, just as a take, just as a different version of what you're going to make eventually. Your drums are pretty good here. You're kicking nicely. Not sure how I can contribute to this. Feels like it's sitting where it should be. What about you, Alex?
Honestly, I've never heard the original sample. The closest thing that I could relate it to would be like a lot of Wu-Tang stuff. And it was definitely on point. The drums were nice and powerful, and I'm guessing that's kind of what the track was a sample of the original kind of melodic side, but then a reiteration of the drums. And it was good. It was bumping. I would definitely listen to that at any time. It was great.
Λίγο πιο δυνατά στα αυτιά μου. Ευθύμης 2011, που είναι το 2012 και νέους δίχως σεβασμό να οδηγούν σε διχασμό τη σκηνή και σε μαρασμό. Ανάλλων αναράδες και ατάκες σε μεταξύ τους πια Jeff Mixtape.
Yeah, my bad. I just realized I was muted. Sorry. She replicated pretty well the whole feeling here. I think we're gonna have to be a bit faster. We're almost on 2 hours here. This was an emulation, actually. You emulated so well the whole retro feeling of music back in 90s and 80s, actually 80s probably for this one. But as mentioned in the chat, this track needed a bit of vinyl slash cassette noise to be with the track. It was too clear and muddy at the same time, so with that noise you could go a long way. You could actually complete what's missing from this track, which is pretty well done for what it is. What about you, Alex?
I've kept up with this guy's music for like the last couple months. We have a feedback channel in my Discord, and he posts a lot of stuff. And I'm personally like as far as the vaporwave stuff goes, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, so I really enjoy it. And the pitch warping or the tape effect that is on the pads, for me, it's something that's not that easy to do, and it's done very well. This type of genre, I don't think really involves a lot of switching up and a lot of it's more of something that kind of rides, and the vibe carries it. And I have a lot of appreciation for it, and I think it's dope. As far as technical feedback goes, I don't really have too much for it because everything is in its own place and it's nice. I think it's the maximum length that it needs to be. Any longer would be sort of an issue. But I mean, I really enjoy this stuff, and you definitely got something going on with the vaporwave vibes, and I like it. So keep it up.
True. Thank you, Alex. Next track. Deathszn. Deaths to Zitani. Are you still loves me? What? Yeah, I'm having a headache here, pronouncing everything. Electronic hashtag. 8 days ago. 2 minutes. Let's hear it. Oh, it's deathszn. Yeah. Wait, how do you know all this stuff, man? Actually, Muhammad, how do you know everyone's names here? Thank you. Deathszn. Okay, that was different. Thank you for the different track here posted today. Reminded me a bit of another guy that posts here music. He's named Fuchsia, like the color. I liked how you went off the grid with your note placements. They were like a little bit early or a little bit late. They were not on the grid all the time. That would make them sound so dull. Actually, the only thing here that should be fixed is the differential on levels between the intro, break, and outro, and your drops. Your drops are way louder than the rest of the track, and there's a high contrast there. You can fix that just by automating the groups of your pads, melodies, and synths you have on intro, break, and outro. I think that's it. Anything else would be a matter of taste. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, very technical sounding track. I liked, like John said, how it was off the grid. There definitely is an issue between the and the drop being such a drastically different volume. It almost shocks the track. You want the drop, to be loud, but the intro and build need to be cohesive with it. Other than that, there was one thing I noticed in the first drop. You have a snare, but there's not really much going. The snare is mono. There's not much other stuff going on in the mono range. The synths are very stereo. You have room to bring that snare up in the first drop. The second drop, there was a clap layered on top of a kick. The clap was fine in volume, but it was panned to the left. I think it would sound better, at least for me, if the clap was in the center. It just is a little bit distracting how it is. But I think if you put that clap in the center of the second drop, it would sound a little bit better, and then raise the volume of the snare in the first drop. And, just even out the volume of the intro and drop itself. But other than that, it was nice. It was unique. I definitely appreciated it. It was good.
Yeah, I didn't notice about the left panning of the clap, probably because I'm looking like this. So this speaker, yeah, it's not like I'm like this all the time. I should be. Next and last track by Kevin and Leonard. Revelation. Says drum and bass, says 3 years ago, and it's almost 3 minutes. 3 years ago. Okay, hopefully it's not released on a label that's gonna copy strike us. Probably not, but yeah. Let's go, let's hear it. It's the last track. After that it's gonna be an outro, and let's go. Yo! So while in most tracks we tell you guys what to add or what you could fix on how it is, this track needs less. This track needs a subtractive form of approach. It already has a lot more than it could handle. Sometimes it's clunky because of that. A lot of stuff trying to be heard in the same frequency area, and they're battling with each other, so they don't have a home on this frequency spectrum. You definitely need to replace your snare here, though. It's it's a snare from 2011, which is not bad, but for drum and bass it is. It's too wide for drum and bass. You need a snappier and shorter in duration snare or clap or whatever you're going to use in that case. You need it to be shorter. I like your melodies and your plucky synth. I can't remember how it's called. Is it like a kalimba or something? Your structure is good. It's like an intro, a build up, a drop, a break, a drop, and the outro. It's also 3 years ago, so I'm not sure if this is constructive to you as an artist, because probably you won't go back and fix all these things in a track that's 3 years old. A better mixdown in general would help here, because since you have so many things, when you try and see which is important and not, and you handpick them, you will then be left with exactly what you need, and you can mix them better. What do you think about it, Alex?
I liked the feel of the track. The mixdown is definitely an issue. I feel like at some points when it was, after the drop and it was, taken off, it almost felt like there was no kick, or like the bass itself was louder than the kick, or the kick was just really subby and didn't have a lot of mid-range. And that's the hard part about drum and bass, which is why I struggle with making it, is because the kick and snare need to slice through all of that bass that you have going there. The bass and stuff still need to be prominent, but the kick and snare need to cut directly through the middle. And I felt like a lot of the times I couldn't hear the kick at all. And when I was trying to feel it, I couldn't tell what was the kick or what was like the bumpy bass. The snare, like John said, it was there could definitely be a better one. But in my opinion, I noticed the problem with the kick more than the snare, because I could at least hear the snare. And yeah, that's a lot of drum and bass. That's one thing that you learn over time is, what the song needs, what it doesn't need. You could still, every element of that song that you had, you could still have it in there, but maybe in one part you could take some of it out, introduce more of it in the next measure. Like add and subtract in different areas to keep it fresh, instead of having so much going on at the same time.
So you mean like you could use the same things but spread it better, so there's a variation here and there.
Right. You can keep your sounds, but space them out so where you don't, blow your wad all at once. You keep it interesting. But yeah, the main issue I had with it was the kick. Substitution of different kick and snare sounds along with a mix down, and adding and subtracting different things at a certain point would really help it take off, I think.
That's true. Yeah. To be honest, I was so focused on the snare and everything that's going wrong on this, as we mentioned, that I didn't even notice the thing with the kick, and that's embarrassing. I think that's it. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it a night. Thank you, Alex, so much for your time and effort you put in this. Thank you for bringing guys from your community. The Discord server is posted in the comments. I'm gonna pin it. Everyone could join Alex on his server. He shares and gives feedback regularly. I'm in there as well. I'm gonna pin it right now so you can find it easy. That's it. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, bro. You actually put some inputs in the tracks here that I wasn't going to do, and that's why you're here. That's why you are who you are, and thank you for your new music and your old music, of course. Let's hear from you the outro as well, and we'll close the stream until next week.
Thank you, man.
Let's. Okay, thank you everyone for your submissions. This is being happening like weekly. I do it mostly on Fridays. The submission form for everyone who used it is the same. You can use it for everything. I mean, for every episode, every next episode. It's the same form and it's the same procedure. Only other times, most of the times, I'm alone. But in 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have in the same position as Alex here is Mr. Nick B. If you know from drum and bass and you like drum and bass, you know Nick B. He's not huge like Pendulum or Noisia or Teddy Killers as in terms of mainstream publicity, but it's Nick B. I even have a vinyl from that guy. He's a great producer and that's gonna be great as well. Looking forward to it. Anyone who wants to submit tracks can either PM me on my page or my personal profile, or use the submission form I made for this specific reason. Thank you all for tuning in and your comments on the chat. See you next week. Goodbye.